September we met, I could tell by your smile. You hadn't been with a good girl like me in a while. Yeah, you were.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me by now, my name is Trini Lovely, and today we're gonna have a wonderful, exciting conversation today where I'm gonna go back to my roots of my videos. And today is Wednesday, so today is gonna be considered Spiritual Wednesday. I don't have a reason of why I'm calling it Spiritual Wednesday. It's just because that's just the way how I lined up my agenda for the day. So Monday, it's gonna be basically Business Monday, and then on Tuesday it's gonna be Trending Topic, where I talk about anything and everything. And then Wednesday is basically back to the roots, back to the Spiritual Wednesday. But I am gonna start doing DIY videos and outfit of the day and vlogs as we continue on. I'm just trying to see how I'm going to organize my day, because I did tell you before that I'm in the process of building a website, so I'm just trying to kind of like organize my day as we go. So let's get into this topic of spirituality. I did have numerous people reaching out to me, and I want to say thank you guys for reaching out to me. That makes me feel really good that I could actually help and assist people on their spiritual journey. So I definitely want to actually make a day for people who are interested in just spirituality. So I just want to get a little bit into spirituality. What is spirituality, right? What is the practice of spirituality? Spirituality is just you finding yourself and actually finding that divine within you, that divine connection that you have. So basically, spirituality is not a religion, right? It is not a religion that you're following. Anyone can be spiritual, right? So, you know, you're just picking up you're taking your free will, and you're actually finding the truth to you. You're actually finding your truth, right? And anything that, you know, you decide to do in life, as far as finding the truth, finding the information, researching, learning, all that plays with your spirituality at the end of the day. So I am glad that a couple of people reached out to me, and I know that a lot of people are searching for their truth, their answers. And what I suggest for you is, when you are searching to kind of get on that spiritual journey, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me, so you can actually have a better understanding of how I got on my spiritual journey. So, you know, I was very young when I was able to see, you know, see into realms, visions, prophesize, deviations, clairvoyance abilities. Very, very early on. I think I probably started having all those clairvoyance abilities since probably like the age of 5, 6. And at that time, I really didn't know what was going on. I was just always a very scared child, always panicking, didn't want to be alone, and never understanding why am I going through this. So at this time, I actually thought like every house that I was living in was haunted. I'm like, oh my God, like every house that I experienced this is haunted, because I also have medium ability. So I was always terrified. I was always scared. I was always nervous, because I didn't have anyone there who was a guide, or anyone there that actually told me, okay, this is normal. Until I got older, and then, you know, my dad started telling me, like, you know, his family had that ability where they had a medium ability. And so I was like, oh, okay, then all these things kind of actually made sense. But very early on, I had no awareness, but I always had my highest self kind of guiding me. Like when I was, you know, much earlier on in my teenager years, it always had like a spiritual guide there with me, where it always allowed me never to overstep my boundaries and never do anything too out of the ordinary, because I will always have like this spiritual guide within myself, like my higher self, always restraining me from going too far. If I got myself in any kind of trouble, it will always kind of like guide me, like, don't do this, don't say this, don't do that, where it was always just restrained. So as years continue on, I started realizing that I was always astral traveling. I never understood why I was experiencing this. And it was very scary at first when I was astral traveling, because I didn't really know the difference between an astral travel or a dream. I didn't understand what was an astral projection between an astral travel. So there was a numerous amount of things that I had to actually go through to find out why I'm going through all this. So everything that I went through was based on personal experience. And you know, like a few years ago, I remember just hitting rock bottom. Like, nothing that I did worked for me. Like, there was no job that I could have gotten. I remember getting my first degree and don't have a job, and I'm going through all this experience, having no friends, having nobody at my side. And so I remember very early on never understanding why I'm going through all this and being in a very depressed state, going through depression. And just at that time, I was still practicing Christianity. And I remember reading the Bible from like the beginning and seeing the relationship that these people had with angels coming down. And I remember crying, like, where is the angel? Why is this angel not coming to, you know, comfort me? And where is God? And where is he? And I need like somebody to pick me up, because I feel like I'm at rock bottom. Like, I went to school, got a degree, I couldn't get a degree. I was going through all this experiences that I had, and it was so much experience that I was going through right at the same time. And then on top of what I was going through, I started like astral traveling consistently. So I didn't understand what the hell I was going through. So as time went on, you know, I used to pray and just ask for assistance and guidance and help. And then, I don't know, my sister one day, she came and she was like, you know what? These people are crazy. They believe that they're meeting angels. And I'm like, who believe they meeting angels? And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I need to meet an angel, because I'm so down. I'm so depressed. I feel like I'm at rock bottom. I used to go through a lot of temptations of, you know, taking my own life. So I used to go through a lot, like all the time. And I remember reading my first Kabbalah book, and that really kind of changed the whole course of the depression state. So one of my things very early on in my spiritual journey was I suffered with depression very young. I think my first depression thoughts and thoughts that I had of taking my life was at the age of 11. So when I got to my first Kabbalah book, and I started seeing my personality for myself and who I was and how angry I was, I realized I was a very angry person, and I had to work on me. So on the spiritual journey, it's not just, okay, let me find the divine. It's really finding you and finding the divine within you, because everybody has the divine within them as well. So I really kind of shaped a different course of my spiritual journey. I started realizing who I was. I started realizing that a lot of things happened in my life was due to the way I thought about myself. Like, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that anything could work out for me. I already had gave up in looking for a job. Like, I would go to a job interview, and before I got to the job interview, I would already say to myself, I'm not good enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not what they're looking for. I'm not confident enough. And when I walk into the interview, I will fumble and mumble at the mouth. I would not be able to express myself, sell myself. I would not believe in myself. And then immediately with that experience that I will face, it will be the most negative things that comes out somebody's mouth, right? And I remember going to this job interview. This was like right after I graduated. And it was like so many experiences I had that. Like I had one experience where I went to the job interview, and at that time, you know, you hear people saying certain colors is not what you're supposed to wear. But again, like I said, I was a very angry person, so I never used to take any kind of help. Like I didn't care what people say. I was very disrespectful. I didn't believe whatever anybody tell me. I need to experience it myself. So I went to a job interview with like blue pumps and a blue skirt and a white shirt. And when I went into the job interview, there was a young lady, and she wasn't too far from my age, and I was at a job, and I wanted to be a paralegal. So I went to and at that time I didn't even know like paralegals, they can't dress like that. They have to be very you know, corporate America. They gotta look very business type. So when I went in there, she was like, why do you want this job? And I was like, well, I went to school, I got my degree, and I want to be a paralegal. And she was like, you know, you look very hip hop. And she was like, you know, maybe you need to go into fashion, and maybe you need to go find a job in that industry, because, you know, I can't send you on an interview looking like this. And I was so insulted. Like I remember like my whole like self-esteem just broke, because to me, I thought I was looking fine. And you know, yeah, she could have said, you know what, that's not business attire, but she did not. She kind of just went on this note of, I'm looking very hip hop. So I decided to leave. And I was very unprofessional too. So I kind of leave, and I was like, you know, thank you for your time, blah, 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 and I left. And I remember coming home on the train, and just, I couldn't even get off the train before tears started rolling down my eyes. And I was like, you know, I don't know why I fooled myself. I don't know why I got this degree. I can't get a job, and blah, blah, blah. But the whole point of what I'm trying to say is, on your spiritual journey, you may find out things about yourself that actually influence the way how your life plays out, by the way your thought process is, by the way that you act, by the way you treat others, by the way you interact with others. And that was something I had to learn very early, and I didn't learn that overnight. Like it took me years. It took me years to kind of see that how I treat people, I always got it back in return, right? So on the spiritual journey, you're gonna see that. And you're going to understand that the realm that we live in, it's a wheel, and it's a 360. So whatever you put out, it's going to be a complete circle, and it's going to come back to you on a 360. Now, we live in a realm where it's an illusion. So you're not going to see it. If you're walking and you're not paying attention, you're not going to understand why you're being treated this way, or why you're getting this experience. You're only going to understand that this person just hurt me. And you're not going to understand that this hurt and pain is really coming from the projection of what you're actually putting out too. And that depression sometimes is actually coming from how we think and how we feel. And it's really, when you're actually at that point, when you decide to get on that spiritual journey, it's really about you. Really about finding out who you are. And I had to really find out who I was. So I realized very early on that I was stopping my growth. I was stopping my potential. I was stopping things that was going to come in my way, in my path, and I was taking it away because I was an angry person who didn't believe in myself. I wasn't confident. I wasn't happy with who I was. I didn't like myself. I didn't like looking at myself. I was just that of an angry person. So if you're always consistently unhappy and angry, and you're taking on all that pressure or hurt, your life is going to be very, very in turmoils, because you're going to spend a lot of time getting that energy back to you. That same energy that you're putting out, you're going to get that same energy back. And it sounds crazy, because if you're always angry and down and depressed, you're going to find yourself treating everybody around you on that same energy. Like if you're angry and you waking up every day on the wrong side of the bed, the minute somebody say something to you, you're going to snap, right? And then when you go outside and the people around you, they're going to be disgusted. They're going to be like, you know what? She got a bad attitude. I don't like her. You know, she just made me feel uncomfortable. Because that vibration, that frequency that you're letting out, right? It's actually always around you. And when sometimes people meet you, they're going to be like, I don't take her blood. Like, I just don't like her. And I don't know why I don't like her. But it's the frequency, it's the energy, because your vibration is so low. Because when you are made in the image of God, right? And you are carrying that divine inside of you, you can't hate yourself. You have to love yourself. And if you are on that depressive state, that's like the worst state to be in, is to be on that depression state of taking on all the hurt and the pain and the feelings and the tear down, the brokenness, and putting it back into around you, that energy around you, and indulging in that energy because you're so angry, you're so hurt. So that was something I did very early on, and through my spiritual journey, I was able to actually come out of depression off of that. Actually just learning, reading, understanding, researching, reading a bunch of books, and I was able to take my free will and actually change that about myself. And I have no problem to tell you how to go about that every single Wednesday. And if you have any suggestions that you want to hear about, you want advice, feel free to comment below. I have no problem actually telling you how I got out of that depression state. And as I tell you before, I struggled with depression from the age of 11 all the way through to the ages that, you know, I ain't gonna say my age, but the age that I'm around right now. And I actually struggled with that all the time. And that's something that I go through a lot. Like, you know, every now and then, you know, when things don't go my way, I find myself beating up on myself, and then quickly I have to come out of that, because I'm like, wow, this is like it's like a freaking problem. It's like a damn freaking drug or something. Like, why every time things don't go my way, I'm like going to this sadness and this dark place. And it's truly an enlightenment when you start your spiritual journey, because it could take you in so many different directions where you can learn so much that you can see yourself actually walk out of that depressive state where you're not depressed anymore. You're not down. You're not angry. You kind of understand your life. You kind of understand why things played out the way it is. Why sometimes in life it's just the way it is, and you get to work on you. Like, I was able to work on me so much, because I started realizing it's not to beat up myself and say I hate myself or I don't like myself, but it was really a learning lesson for me to realize that these things are changeable, right? Your actions, your behavior can always change. You could always change that. It takes time through practice, because everyone is actually always on a consistency of them always just being themselves, and it's a habit, and you're kind of like programmed to kind of react the same way over and over with the same reaction. But you have to pull the plug from the matrix and realize, hold up, that's what's causing that is some kind of pain, some kind of hurt, some kind of disappointment, some kind of depressive state that I'm in that's allowing me to lash out and hurt others. Because let me tell you something. If you lash out and you hurt others, I guarantee you're going to be hurt. And I'm telling you that because of the realm we live in. I'm telling you that because of the wheel that we actually are in. This is a karmic realm. Whatever you do, you get it back. It don't come back in the same form. It does not come back saying, knock, knock, knock. You remember what you did to Sally? I'm back. It does not look like that. So it's very easy for you to fall into a pattern and not know that you're getting ill-treated from that relationship based on the fact of how you treated your mother, or you treated your family, or you treated your friend. It's really whatever energy you put out is the same energy you get back. So keep that in mind as you enter into your spiritual journey. I want to thank you guys for watching today. Today is Spiritual Wednesday. Tune back in on next week Wednesday, and I will continue the topic, how you can actually, if you are going through any kind of depression at this time, how you can actually come out of that depression through your spiritual journey and really finding yourself and really working on yourself. And I do want to give you some affirmations that you can say today. You could get up and you could wake up each day. You could say, I am very happy. I'm excited. I'm loved. Everyone loves me. Everyone cares about me. I care about everybody, and a kindness. And I want to keep in mind before I let you guys go today, whatever you say and how you feel, I need you to push that back on to somebody. Pick somebody throughout your life and show them that same love that you want, that kindness that you want, that care that you want. Choose somebody. Choose somebody that you know and give them that kindness, and it's going to come back. It's going to come back. Start reaching out of the box and realizing that you can always change your life by taking your free will and changing everything around you. You don't have to stay in your misery. You don't have to stay in your oppression. You don't have to stay in your hurt. You don't have to stay in your pain. Whatever you may went through as a child, whatever you went through as an early childhood, adulthood, it can stop to this day. You have to change it with your thought process. And again, thank you for watching, and tune in next week.